I just felt like I outgrew it. I had my license, or I was coming up on the time of me graduating barber college. And I was like, I'm about to be licensed. I gotta be official. I gotta be something that somebody remember. I don't want to be just another hair by this or style by. I didn't want to get lost in the sauce. I wanted to have something that was memorable.
Hey, folks, and welcome back to an episode of Her World Media. This is a series where we highlight women living in various parts of the world who are doing big step of moves in their various fields. I am your host, Kiera, and shout out to our show's producer, Jovan. Let's get started, and I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. So, per usual, I'm so excited to introduce our guest for today. This is my sister friend, one of my closest friends. I just love this person so much. I love her so much, and I have so much respect for her and so much admiration for her and what she's done. So I'm going to give the floor over to her so she can introduce who she is and what she does.
Thank you so much. I love you guys. I appreciate you for having me on your platform. And my name is Courtney. I am a licensed barber and loctician. Um, and yeah, that's what I do. I pretty much translate my art through her.
Absolutely. And yes, we are so excited for you to be here today. And I'm really excited to talk about the work you do and within your industry because I do feel like often people minimize like the artistic aspect behind working in the hair industry. So for those who don't know too, Courtney was actually my barber. She was my barber. She's the reason why my hair is always dyed and busted because she taught me how to dye my hair. Um, and when she first started doing my hair, it was in school. We went to Columbia College, Chicago together, and she was doing hair. She was doing locks in the dorm rooms and everything. So when I was preparing questions for this conversation, I was thinking, how did you even learn how to do hair in the first place? Like, what did somebody teach you? Did you learn from watching? Like, how did that start?
I used to I started my locks on my own. And I would like maintain them. And then when I was like 16, um, my aunt, I used to watch my little cousin, and my little cousin, he needed a haircut real bad. And my aunt just was like, "Yeah, I need you to cut his hair." I ain't never cut her a day in my life. She was like, "I trust you. You know it running our blood." I'm like, nobody taught me nothing. My mom used to, I mean, she still does hair. My grandma, she had like a little hand in hair. She had a little hand in everything. But when she told me that, I was like, I don't know if I could do it. She was like, "No, you good. Here go the clippers right here. Just line them up, and you know what you're doing." And I was like, she's lost her mind. Maybe she got like dementia or something because this is, I don't know. But it came out good. The first time she was real happy about it. And that's how I got my foot in the door when it came to doing her and cutting her.
Wow. I
Mm-hmm.
never knew that before, that that's how you start.
Child, I don't know what was wrong with her.
So how did you even approach cutting the hair? Like you had no idea what to do. You had like no information. Like how did
Mm.
you like even approach it? Like did you try to fade first or like what did you do?
I just did a even all over, and then like I just put a guard on. I put the biggest guard on,
Mhm.
and then I looked in the mirror to see if it was right, and then I put the smallest. Like I went to a level that I feel like he could like brush it down and lay it down,
Yeah.
and then I ain't gonna lie, my aunt's husband at the time, he was like, "I just want to let you know, don't use these clippers right here. They just too sharp," and I was like, "I'm gonna use them." And I ended up cutting my client my I ended up cutting my cousin's like neck, and
Mhm.
he like cried, and I was like, "I'm so sorry." And then I was like, "Don't cry, don't tell on me." And I don't know if my uncle know that I used them clippers, but now I know why he said don't use them clippers on him because it was too sharp. So I just did an even all over, and I lined them up, and that was it. And she was like, "It looked good," and I was like, "She's crazy. This looks a mess." But then,
So
okay,
then what made you start like doing hair in school?
I was poor.
Mhm.
so So a little backstory, not to get too deep. So when I was in college, my mom used to give me a allowance of $25 every 2 weeks. That's $50 a month. And
Mm.
I used to have to make it stretch. And the only reason why she was able to do that is because my dad was paying child support at the time. And then by the end of, I think like it ended up getting like cut off or something. And he only had to pay like $75 a month, but she had to pay like my phone bill and stuff. And then she would like complain to me about bills. And I was just like, I'm sick and tired of this shit. Excuse my language, I don't mean to
Oh,
cuss,
you're
but I
fine.
was just like,
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of hearing it. And it's nothing that I could do about it. So I was like, the best way that I could kind of help her, excuse me, is to allow her to just keep the bread.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of I had a lot of potential clients. They would ask me, "Oh, where you get your hair done?" Because I was retwisting my
Oh.
hair on my own. "Oh, could you do mine?" And I'm like, "I'm not a professional," and it was like, "I don't care, I don't care." So, eventually, I got tired of being broke,
Mm.
and they was like, "How much you gonna charge?" And I was like, "Well, I'll charge $20 for a wash, retwist, and a style." And
What?
you, girl, yes. And I was like, "If you want a haircut, I'll give you a free lining because I didn't have nobody to practice on."
Yeah.
And who gonna turn that down as a college student? You know,
Right.
who's broke.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I got started. I was just like, I'm tired of being poor. And she was like, well, now I got some extra money. I was like, I don't need it. You can just keep it.
Yeah.
How you getting money? Doing her. She was like, okay.
That is like blowing my because even then we were in school between what 2011 and 2016, and
Mm-hmm.
even then to charge somebody $20 for all of that stuff, that's crazy,
Insane.
insane.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And I was thinking too during this time, I was trying to remember like the first time that you did my hair, and I cannot remember. Do you remember at
I
all?
still have the picture.
You do? You
Yeah,
have
you had like a red bang and you had the sides and the
okay,
back shaved. Yes,
I was
girl.
given
That was
that
when you had your
mushroom cut.
glasses and you would wear them regularly.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. I'm gonna wear my glasses more now. Okay.
Got you. Heard you. Heard you.
But yeah, I think I had like a no, I didn't have a mushroom cut then. I think then I just had like the
Yeah.
swoop over. And that's
Mm-hmm.
when Jovan, remember like we were doing seven with Onye and stuff, and that's when like I really start working with Jovan and stuff. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
how far I've come with the hair.
Right.
After that,
Okay.
I had the bowl cut with the blonde,
Yes.
and then I had the like the tiny afro for a while, and then you cut it off.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember? Because you were in barber school and I
I
had
remember.
like a Gumby cut or something.
I still have those pictures.
Yes, and you were like, okay, now you either gonna have to cut it down or cut it off. And I was okay, let's cut
Right.
it off. Or like, no, you said we would either have to do the same thing or cut it off. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
okay, cut it off, but I wasn't expecting for um the cutoff to be so low. But ever since
Uh-huh.
then, it's like I can't go back. I
Exactly.
can't go back.
Exactly, G.
And speaking of barber school, so you decided after a while to get your license. Like, what made you decide to do that?
Honestly, I knew at 9 years old that I wanted to be in the hair industry. I grew up in shops. Like literally, most of my time was spent in a barber shop or either a hair salon. So I was like really infatuated with the barber side, but I
Mm.
didn't know how to like really, looking back now with what I know, I didn't know how to really conceptualize that that was exactly what I wanted to do. But I did know what I didn't want to do because
Right.
my mama was at the shop at like 4 a.m. and
Mm.
then didn't leave until like midnight and
Yeah.
had to do it all over again. Sew-ins, quick weaves, silk presses, things like that. I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I
And
feel that.
then I told her, I was like, I want to do that. And she was like, no. She was like, no, you're not. And I was like, that's crazy. She was like, I want you to be better than me. And I was like, I could be better than you at what you're doing. And she was like, no, you going to college. Like the
Yeah.
traditional because she comes from a different generation.
Mhm.
So well, I don't how can I do this without getting too deep? Eventually, because of our differences, she was just like, pretty much cut me off. She was like, I can't continue to uh put you in school if you don't do what I want you to do. Just like a control thing. And I was just like, okay, fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. So I had a regular job, and then I was doing hair part-time at my house.
Mhm.
And then after that,
Mhm.
I was like, okay, this is something I really want to do. So I started doing a little research, and my barber at the time, I was like, I want to go to barber school. He was like, do it. And I was like, okay. So I called the barber school, and they gave me the information. I was like, okay, I can't fill out for this long because, in order to be, um, what do you call it? Not a depend, or how is it? You know how it is with the loans. If I could fill it out for myself, I have to be
Yeah, so
23
you don't
years
have to
old.
have a code like signer. Mhm.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, bet. And at the time I was like 21, 22.
Yeah.
And no, I was 22 years old. And
Mhm.
she was like, I was like, okay, let's see if she not mad at me no more. So I
Mhm.
was like, hey, do you mind doing this? And she was like, let me think about it. So the thinking turned into months, turned into years. I was like, it don't matter. I'm gonna just do it on my own. I'm gonna just get this practice in. I'm gonna build my clientele. And eventually I filled out the loan by myself, and I went to barber school.
Mm.
Hmm.
Well, thank you for sharing that too, especially in terms of like the different life experiences you had in
Hmm.
the relationship with your mother that led up to
Hmm.
your profession. I think that I just want to say thank you for sharing that back
Yeah.
and being vulnerable enough to share that part of it because we don't always realize or understand like the
Hmm.
pathway to where somebody has gotten. So I
Right.
want to talk about your entrepreneurship too, because so you are a licensed barber and loctician, but you are also a brand, like you're an entrepreneur, and you
Mhm.
have had experience working within a shop and working in a suite and traveling and working with like some big girls like Vic Mensa. So I want to spend a little bit of time of you just talking about like you can jump in however you want to, but just about like your brand and how
Mhm.
what about that and how it's been like traveling and what that looks like for you?
So my brand came about because at first, we all start off by like, I feel like in the hair industry, everybody start off with like fades by this or
Mhm.
styles by this person or her by blah blah blah. And I was just like, no, G, I
It's like
gotta
what
come
by
harder than
who?
that.
It's what her.
Her by
No, St.
yes, G.
Louis.
I'm sorry, it's hair by blah blah blah
No,
blah
you're
blah.
fine.
So uh so I just felt like I outgrew it.
Mhm.
I had my license, or I was coming up on the time of me graduating barber college. And I
Mhm.
was like, I'm about to be licensed. I gotta be official. I gotta be something that somebody remember. I don't want to be just another hair by this or style by. I didn't want to get lost in the sauce. I wanted to have something that was memorable. So I was like, I was talking back and forth with my wife. At the time, she was my fiance, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, what can I come up with? And then I was talking to my mom at the time, and who's a hairstylist. I was like, nah, we got to come up with something different. And she was just like, um, well, you do full grooming services. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I do the barber, I do the loctician. And she was like, and you are an artist? And I was like, yeah. She was like, why not the grooming artist? I was like,
Oh, I didn't know that came from your mom. Like a comes from your
yes,
mother. Wow.
yes. So I was like, the grooming artist.
Mhm.
Girl, a couple months later, I found that LLC, and I was like, I'm the grooming artist. And then like yellow, I was like, I gotta get something that catches somebody's attention,
Yeah.
like the color. And I
Mhm.
was just like, I wanted to make people feel good and remember me. And don't laugh. Fire Festival. The Fire Festival, they used orange tea and it
Yeah,
caught
but that was a
everybody
good
attention.
marketing scheme. Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly. So I
Mhm.
was like, I really love my granny G. She's everything to me. and her favorite color was yellow. And I was like, I have to make her a part of this brand because my mom is important to me. My grandma is everything to me. So I
Mhm.
was like, let me combine those two. And I was like, I'm gonna put the yellow and I'm gonna do the grooming artist.
Mhm.
Can't nobody miss, ain't nobody using yellow.
Right, right.
So I was like, you can't miss it. When you see the yellow, everybody using purple, everybody using black and white, everybody using the red, white, and blue because of the barber. I was like, I don't want to do that. I
Yeah.
don't want to be looked at as just another barber or just another this. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So I was like, that's just it just meshed so well. So yeah, that's how I came up about it. Um, Now when it comes to building my brand at the
Yeah.
time, Instagram was blue and white
Mhm.
and it was hard to be. That was when it was more so like authentic and it didn't become like a big ad service.
Yeah.
So I was able to kind of like authentically like get my work out there by posting pictures because one of my friends that was in the hair industry, she was just like, people want to see progress because we are all our own worst critic as artists. And I
Mhm.
was just like, I don't want to, post my pictures because I'm not comfortable. And then she was just like, people love progress. So post
Yeah.
where you at now. That way they can look back and be like, oh, dang, she getting good. I want to give her a chance.
Mhm.
Looking at where she came from. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I started posting myself. And then I started like rubbing shoulders with, I started my barber at the time. He got me a job at his location. And I started rubbing shoulders with people in the industry. And then that's how I came like to be a part of like doing Big Mensa's hair on to like, you know, so like now I'm still getting inquiries like from some names today. Like I don't know if you know who Money Man is, but he worked with Moneybag Yo. He worked with a lot of cats in the industry. He really was just like a producer, but then he was just like, I'm a rap too, whatever. But he more so just do like logistic stuff now.
Yeah.
Um and then like a couple of days ago, like one of Young Miami's friends hit me up to do some locks, and I was like, this is a scam.
I'm that girl.
Ah,
It's just
well, yeah,
that I'm that girl. No, seriously, you really are that girl.
I appreciate that,
You
G.
are seriously, yes.
Thank
Um,
you.
I want to be mindful of time. I want to
Mm,
also thank you for sharing that too, by the way.
yeah, yeah.
Because people need to know who you are, what you do, and what you're capable. You're
I
that
appreciate
period.
you.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
do want to spend a little bit of time talking about your experience. We've talked had in-depth conversation about this, but spend a
Mm,
little bit of time talking about your experience in this industry as a Black woman and
mm,
some of the like the woes and things that have come with that. And I'm also curious too, do you feel like because you have worked in barbershops and from my experience, like going to like when you were in a shop, like working in like predominantly male spaces,
mm.
and then you also have had experience like working within your own space. Do you feel like you have to work harder? Do you feel like there's like a stigma around, especially because
A
you're a barber?
1000%.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit
A
about that, please?
thousand. Absolutely. So when I was in barber school, I'm gonna kind of like jump around a little bit.
Mhm.
So just to give you like a timeline of how I dealt with those things. When I was in barber school, I'll never forget, like, always had men, you know what you doing, you do this, you know that. And I'm just like, yes, I know what I'm doing. I can give you what you want. Woo, woo. I had a man sit in my chair, and just because I wasn't using enough pressure, he thought my cut wasn't going to be right. And I'm just like, just trust me, woo, woo, woo. And he was like, I don't think she's cutting it right. Got my instructor. He was like, it literally is a ball fade. Like I gave him exactly what you have. And
Yeah.
he was like, oh, okay. It didn't feel like because it didn't hurt. I just thought, I'm like, sir, a haircut is not supposed to hurt. And he
No.
was like, well, this look good, thank you. And he just started trusting me more. Then I had a woman come to me and be like, I'm sorry, I just feel like women don't know how to cut. So, mind you, I was literally like, all the instructors was like, she's the best one in here. So
Mm.
your best bet is to go to her. And she was like, I don't feel comfortable. I feel like the cut won't be sharp. So my instructors on my behalf was just like, you don't even understand what you just did. and she was in there for 2 hours for one person cutting her hair. She literally was in there for 2 hours, and she was like, "I'm so sorry. Could you please cut my hair?" And I was just like, respectfully, no.
Yep.
You've already exhausted me. I really hate to explain myself. I'm more so, I'll just let the work talk for me. But
Yeah,
if you have to let me beg and plead to service you, I don't want no
absolutely.
parts. You know what I'm saying? As an artist, it just feels more comfortable just to be and do and let your
Yeah.
work speak for itself. And instead of just being like, please pick me,
Mhm.
please, because I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So I hate doing that. Also, I feel like I have to work harder as a black masculine lesbian,
Mhm.
because like I know that people gravitate. I'm not gonna say people. I'm not gonna say everybody, but from my experience,
Mhm.
I feel like more feminine women get more um opportunities
Mm.
from the hair industry. Me being in the hair industry, they just gravitate to them doing locks or cutting hair. I mean, they do give them a little friction and be like, "Oh, do you know what you're doing?" But they would rather give them the opportunity because they're more attracted to them, or
Um,
a man. You know what I'm saying? Because they just be like, men know
yeah,
better because of whatever
male
reason. I
dominant
never
is
Yeah, it's a male dominated industry and you gotta like prove yourself. So I think it's been harder for me. Like I've seen people literally start way after me and then get picked up like no problem. Like just because of their femininity or either just them being a man.
yeah,
So I feel like I do have to work 10 times harder. I feel like I'm working not even 10, 1,000%
yeah,
harder to get my brand recognized, to get myself or to, I guess, showcase my work without like being like, pick me. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
that's why I just put my YouTube videos out there. And if you decide to come to me, cool. And if you don't, cool. Either way, I'm still gonna be able to express myself through my art. I
Absolutely.
hope that made sense.
No, that makes total sense. And I
Okay.
also, and I know that comes with time and experience. Like you are at a
Yeah.
place now where you feel assertive with that aspect and being like comfortable
Hmm.
with yourself to know like I don't have to prove myself. My work speaks for myself. And though you still have difficult, like it's still difficult with how people approach um women that's like yourself in the industry, more androgynous or
Hmm.
masculine presenting women, but that you still are like that you still feel comfortable within yourself and you know who you are and
Absolutely.
what work does. Because again, she's that girl, period. Okay. So
Thank
really
you.
quick, just before because I do want to get to some like fun questions really quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before that, really, really quick. If people are looking for like womenist or film or like queer folk in their community
Hmm.
for a barber or loctician, like
Hmm.
what would you recommend? Like, where can they look? Like, should they look up certain words? Should they look up on certain apps? Or what would you
Um, I would say, well, a lot of people find me just off the strength of my YouTube. So, like, if you're searching for a certain service, just look up haircuts in your area, like just hashtag whatever you're looking for, and I'm pretty sure you'll see like pictures and videos of who that person is, or they'll have like a backup page, and you can see who they are and see uh if that person aligns with what you align with. You know what I mean? Like if you're looking for more queer people or whatever. Now, I'm not saying that you guys would be a good fit, but I'm just saying if you're
yeah.
looking for specifics, then you don't have to be like, oh, queer black barbers, because I don't hashtag my stuff like
Right,
that. I'm
right.
just a barber. You know what I
Right, right,
mean?
right, right.
So yeah, you just look it up
Yeah.
in your area, hashtag what you're looking for.
Absolutely. And the reason why I asked it too, because I do it, even for myself,
Mm-hmm.
like we've had conversations. I prefer going to a black woman or queer person just
Mm-hmm.
because I have had experiences being in predominantly male spaces in the shop and not feeling comfortable. So it does feel
Mm-hmm.
good when you have like a like-minded person that's
Yeah.
doing a service for you. So yeah, like and it definitely not to put like a stigma or statement on you, like, okay, I am,
Mm-hmm.
but like um
Yeah.
good to know that you can search for
Mm-hmm.
somebody, a specific kind of person, or somebody that you would feel more comfortable or you can relate to. Would you rather be able to travel unlimitedly with no money or have unlimited access to money, but you can't travel at all?
Baby, give me that travel.
Okay. And why?
Cause also been there, done that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it opens your mind to you can't take the money with you when you go. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But you can have those experiences with those people you want to take or whatever like that. Because money don't solve everything. It do make things a lot easier. Don't get me wrong, but when you have those experiences, I feel like when you're not like a caged bird and you're not limited to certain things. And actually, I feel like when I travel, I get more um inspiration
Hmm.
for what I'm gonna do next. It helps me create like you know how sometimes you be in the house and you be like, I don't know why I'm having this block. I
Hmm.
feel like I'm stuck. And then you go outside for a little walk to see some scenery or something, and everything just start flowing in. You're getting all these downloads, and you be like,
Yep, and that happens to when you travel to make sure well-rounded
yeah,
too. Yep.
exactly.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree with you. Okay,
And
question 2. Would you rather be a wizard or a superhero?
give me the wizardry.
Okay. Any
Just
kind of
me.
like specific like power within? I don't know if there is one outside of like it's he has her pencil like I agree. I
This
think I would rather be a wizard too. Yeah.
because honestly, I feel like I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be an a-hole and I'm not trying to be cocky when I say this. I really feel like a superhero already.
Okay.
Like seriously, because when I do people hair, it's not just like I'm doing your hair. Like I'm taking the load off of you. You talking to me about your problems because some people don't understand boundaries yet, and I
Yeah.
don't want to make them be like, "Don't talk to me. That's my boundary. I don't want to hear that." I just know how to like kind of still like protect myself in order for me not to take those things home for the most part because I'm still human. So and I've saved a lot of relationships. I've saved a lot of I've helped people upgrade their lives. Like even
Yeah.
like some of my friends have they'll tell me an idea and I'm just like, man, I pray that that happened for you. And then we just keep talking about it until it happens and it manifests into real life.
Absolutely.
And I have a lot of stories like that. So I'm damn near Superman without the S on my chest. I feel like that already. And it's tiring
It
when
is.
other people's problems become your problems and you kind of like help be a life coach or save them from themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
actually,
run me
thank you
that.
for that. Yeah, because that was one of my questions. I didn't think
Mm,
we didn't have time really to get to it, but
mm,
that was perfect that you circle back to that because it is true. And and that's my the reason to why I asked like are there places where people can search because having that comfortability and being having such an intimate relationship as somebody taking care of your hair it becomes
mm-hmm.
really intimate. Sometimes it becomes like a safe space where it's like a therapeutic outlet, and the barber
Exactly.
tends to be like a counselor or like a therapist
Mm-hmm.
for that person um unwillingly, like it sometimes just comes from
Mm-hmm.
position. So I'm
It's a very selfless career, G.
yeah,
And
that
I'm
makes total
learning.
sense. Yeah, that makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So thank you for that. That is our time for
Yeah.
today, unfortunately. Before we go though, can you share with people where they can find you,
Yes.
and where they can get to know more about you? Do you have anything coming up? Do you have like a
Mm.
future goal you want to put into the atmosphere?
Yes, thank you guys so much for having me. You can find me on YouTube at the Grooming Artist. You can find me on Instagram at the Grooming Artist. You can find me on Facebook at the Grooming Artist. You can just Google me. You will find me. You'll literally find the Grooming Artist. My YouTube will pop up. Everything will pop up. Some future plans. In a couple of years, I plan on opening my first salon suite business. Period.
Okay, go.
Period. So I plan on I plan on having that done. My goal is to open up 3 before I franchise them out. I just want to make everything attainable by everybody else. I'm not trying to be money hungry. I do want to live comfortable,
Of course.
but yeah, but I see a lot of people like kind of getting fat off this, and I'm not trying to. get fat. I just want to make sure that I provide people with an opportunity to grow and have some wiggle room for themselves and also buy into the company so that they can do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? And eventually I want to have enough income to fund a school because I feel like the barber schools don't teach more than just barbering because barbering has become oversaturated. You can't just be a barber anymore.
Mhm.
You have to offer something else. So I do want to just start offering something else so that people can have a way to live.
Absolutely. I love
Mhm.
that. Thank you for sharing. We need more people like
Yes,
you
G.
in space owning spaces like that.
I appreciate you.
We appreciate you so much. You know I love you dearly, my friend.
Yes,
Love you so much. Tell It's the Wife I said hi, and we love her
absolutely.
so much.
Yes.
Thank you all for tuning into our show today. We hope you enjoyed our conversation. Please continue to follow the page and look out for future conversations and for information about our guests so that you can continue to stay on top of what they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you
We will see y'all next
guys.
time. Love you, Courtney.
Love you.